Okay, welcome everyone to the October 14th, 2021 meeting of the Haverford Township Planning Commission. Before we start, I want to thank Kelly and Jeff for setting up this Zoom meeting for me. I had knee replacement surgery on Tuesday and my ambulatory abilities aren't quite up to speed. So thank you for that. Kelly, could you call roll, please?
I'll call roll. Mr. Capuzzi?
Present.
Mr. Reardon? Present. Ms. Dobbs? Mr. Fioradimondo?
Present.
Mr. Channon? Mr. Garrett?
Present.
Ms. Phillips?
Okay, I'll ask everyone, join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first up is the Delaware County Regional Water Quality Control Authority, commonly known as Delcora, and their plans to update their Act 537 plan for the Eastern Service Area. Basically, Delcora handles or manages the treatment of sewage that's generated in Delaware County, and their service area is divided into two regions. There's a Eastern Service Area and a Western Service Area. Haverford Township is in the Eastern Service Area, and sewage from the Eastern Service Area is treated at the City of Philadelphia Southwest Treatment Plant. So apparently, whatever the cost is for that treatment, the City of Philadelphia has decided to raise their rates. So Delcora is investigating options to change their current procedures for treating sewage in the Eastern region. So that's why we're here tonight, to review their plan and to make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners that they either approve or disapprove the update. They looked at 4 plans and evaluating the changes they want to make. And one of the plans is a do nothing plan. So if the county were to do nothing, their sewage treatment costs or sewage treatment and conveyance costs would rise to like over $800 million in the next 5 years. Whereas if they do something like build a pump station or upgrade some existing treatment facilities, they can bring that cost down to a little bit more than $400 million. So I think the Delaware County, Delcora is asking us to review or approve their plan to reduce overall costs for treating sewage in Delaware County. Chuck Faulkner, I don't know if you want to go into any more detail.
I don't think there's a need to go into too much more detail unless anybody has questions. Just a couple things though. I think at this point, Angelo, this is not the final plan. I think they're actually just looking for input from the various municipalities as opposed to approval.
Oh, okay.
And then they're going to draft a final plan and send that out at some point later. And I believe they have a schedule on that there. So,
Chuck, I have a question. I think I heard Angelo mention that the do nothing plan is going to cost $800 million within the next 5 years, and the upgrade is building new for $400 million. I'm not sure what exactly. I mean, do nothing, spending $800 million, build new $400 million. What's the difference between them?
The big difference is an extra $600 million that the Philadelphia Water Department wants to charge for treating the sewage.
Okay, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, well, I didn't say anything about that.
That's all right.
So that $600 million is money that could be spent somewhere else. And basically what they're saying is we can do, or Delcora can do a lot with that money and save the taxpayers in Delaware County quite a bit. So it's a good idea on their part that they're looking into this. There may be some tweaks to the selected alternate, but $400 million difference is a big number.
Sure.
And I don't, I won't miss paying that increase.
May I add something, please? On page 47, you'll see the numbers on the paperwork that was sent out. It's $882,100,000 to stay with no action, continued discharge to the city of Philadelphia. The construction of the deep tunnel CSO capture facility and upgrades to the pumping and treating facilities will be $413,900,000, some design work and other work, bringing the whole thing to 472. There are two other options, one of them for 560 plus million and one for 613 plus million. It would be that we would take over and instead of creating this tunnel where we can, one of our biggest problems is when we have bad weather, stuff gets into the sewer system. And what we can do with what they're planning on doing is having this stuff go through a tunnel to a place where it's held until such time as it doesn't rain all the time, which is like to think it has recently. And this will take care of and not only meet our needs, it will be better than what we presently have, because what we're presently discharging into some of the creeks in the Delaware River through the city of Philadelphia is not something that we will have to do in the future. So it meets all the requirements of the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the state, and all of this has been approved. They started working on this in 2017 really hard. But before that, we started actually in 2011 doing some of the work that precludes all of the stuff that's going on. But table 6 gives you really good numbers there. An awful lot of work has gone into this, and quite frankly, if we get out of the city of Philadelphia's pocket here, then we won't be under their control. And just to let you know, the discussion from our present authority is that they are in the process right now of working out an arrangement so that when this comes about, they are going to be immediately flipping this thing over and it will become a part of Aqua. And those discussions are in hand and working. And when Aqua takes this over, and they have done this in a number of municipalities very successfully, we may even see better savings. But the truth of the matter is that it's going to make a major difference for the township and for all of as Angelo points out, the eastern part of the township, and they're going to be able to coordinate the eastern and the western parts much more closely because some of this is being positioned in Chester, which is part of West. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Chuck, for that explanation. Much more detailed than I was expecting, but thank you. And thank you for reading the report.
3
Kelly,
times.
what do you need from us? Or Chuck, what do we need to do?
I believe, like I said, Angelo, they are simply looking for comments on this plan as of this point, and what they will do is collect all the comments from all the municipalities and agencies in the county, including like the health department and planning department, and go back, take them into consideration, update the plan accordingly, and then send the plan back out to all the municipalities.
Okay, so basically a statement that we support the idea of modifying the Act 530's plan for the eastern portion of Delaware County?
It can be as simple as that.
Okay,
Do you think
All
we
right, well,
should
that's-
also add in that we're in supportive of alternative number 2, the one that we've discussed, as opposed to 1, 3, or 4 being staying with the city?
exactly. We would support the least expensive plan,
I think.
whatever that turns out to be. And we'll leave it up to the engineers to figure out how best to do that work.
I don't have any experience advising on the construction of a tunnel. Does anybody know where this tunnel would be and would it affect us in Haverford Township?
Actually won't affect us. It's not going to be in our area. It's going to be going along because of it's in the paperwork with you. You take a look at it. They actually show where they're planning on putting it, and it was among the exhibits. But it's going to be east of here.
There are more exhibits?
Oh, yes, there are. There's a whole bunch after you
If you
get.
go all the way to the very last page,
read everything.
there's right, it's in, the map is in the link.
Chuck, do you know if they have any schematics for this?
We've just identified that there are actually
Yeah.
many hundreds of pages of exhibits after you
Yeah,
get through
okay.
all 58 pages of the report.
Yeah, it's quite a document that they prepared.
Yeah, if you go to like page 36 and 37, 38, they give you a sort of a schematic there, the different alternatives and everything. And essentially that tunnel is running from their treatment plant in Chester, more or less, to the city of Philadelphia. And it's generally along the river is where it
Okay.
is.
Right.
So it's not in our backyards.
Nope.
And
I
they're
don't-
putting it in a place where supposedly, after looking at it, where it is going to have the least impact on the community. We have to have this done by 2028, because in 2028, our agreement with the state, with the city of Philadelphia, has to be renewed, and it's renewed for an extended period of time. So the reason that they're pushing for this is to get this done prior to 2028. And as we all know, Aqua's been digging a lot of holes.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
I do. Just curious what the potential unintended consequences would be of boring a tunnel. They mentioned something about it being rocky terrain. I didn't get through all of the exhibits past the written report to see more specifics, but just curious about what kind of impacts that would be. How easy is it to bore that tunnel? What does that mean kind of post-construction for the stability of that land on top of the tunnel? I don't know, I don't know how many sinkholes we have in this area, but just what's the engineering kind of over-under on the viability of this, and what's the potential for delays in the project, given the timeline, of 2028? Like what potential snags are they anticipating in this implementation?
My guess is they haven't gotten that far to evaluate all those factors, but I suspect they're going to have a considerable subsurface exploration program to evaluate the soils in the area, determine whether or not they're going to be hitting rock and things like that. So a lot of the details probably still have to be worked out. I would have to assume that they wouldn't be suggesting this as a viable alternative unless they felt that it was viable. So, but a lot of questions you're asking would be answered during the preliminary design phase for the project.
Design, engineering, and field work expenses are expected to be a little under $50 million.
And Maggie, I'm sorry.
Nope.
Maggie, I did sit in on a seminar that Delcora had regarding this, and they indicated they were actually, further along than I would imagine. They have a tunnel contractor on board with them. They've done preliminary locations on where these shafts are going to be. They've done preliminary geotech work, and they realize all those circumstances you brought up and realize they need to address them. Like Angela said, they're not to that detail or not to that point yet, but they're actually, they have an alignment sort of set, and they're exploring the subterranean rights and all that type of stuff. So I think, based on what they've told us, they have a pretty good understanding of what needs to be done and what the issues are.
And obviously, they'll have to get all the necessary environmental
Permits.
permits
Yep.
to allow this construction to take place.
Based on your understanding of it, Ange, does it look realistic, the time frame? It seems pretty tight to me.
Well,
With all the
yeah,
approvals.
it is tight. I mean, you don't know until you get into the details,
Sure.
Rob, what kind of challenges you're going to face. So again, you look at the schedule that they laid out for Linwood Elementary School. I never thought they'd get that work done, but they did. So I'm hopeful that they can meet the schedule that they set up. I mean, worst case is it gets delayed a year and they have to pay some additional fees to the city of Philadelphia. I mean, it's not like the sewage is going to go untreated.
Sure. And the costs that are projected, are they present day costs, or do you think it includes the escalation?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
They've even projected in here the change in population per every single community out to 2050. So they have done that on a 10-year basis so that we know how much Haverford Township will grow from its present position and how much we're down 14% lower than we were in 71 when this whole thing began in population. But they expect an overall growth in population for Haverford Township of around 8 to 10%. In some areas, there's almost no change. In other areas, more. All of that population growth and the amount of use is all projected into this. It's really rather comprehensive.
It is.
Anybody else? No? Okay, well, Kelly, we need a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that the Haverford Township Planning Commission supports Delcora and their plan to modify their Act 537 plan for the eastern region of Delaware County. And specifically, we support pursuing alternate number 2, which is the construction of a deep tunnel and upgrades to the pumping and treatment facilities.
You have a second?
Okay, we have a motion. It's been seconded. Anybody have any questions on the motion? None? Okay. Kelly, call roll, please.
Marge is here, so I'm going to defer that to her.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Boozy,
Yes.
Mr. Reardon. Yes. Ms. Dobbs. Yes. Mr. Fioradamando.
Yes.
Mr. Shannon. Yes. Mr. Garrett.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Okay, thank you for that. I wasn't at the last meeting, so can someone make a motion or is someone in a position to make a motion to approve the minutes from our last planning commission meeting?
I'd like to make a motion.
I couldn't hear, Chuck, was that you? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, that's Chuck Reardon, I'm sorry, yes. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from the September 23rd, 2021 meeting
Okay, thank you.
as presented.
Second to that? Did someone second that?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes, okay.
I'll second.
Kelly, call roll, please.
Mr. Capuzzi.
I abstain.
Right. Mr. Reardon.
yes,
Ms. Dobbs.
Yes.
Mr. Fioradamando.
Yes.
Mr. Shannon. Yes. Mr. Garrett.
No.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Okay, that's all the business we have for tonight. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 28th. And because of holidays, we have no meetings in November. And only one meeting in December.
As of today, I do not have any applications for October 28th. So it's very unlikely that we would have something very small come in that we would be able to review in that time. So I think the next time I'm going to see everyone would be December 9th,
Okay, well,
unless otherwise noted.
happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you.
And hopefully by December, I'll be able to walk again. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you, guys. Have a good holiday.
So good night, everyone.
Good night.